Hello everyone, this is Jan from orJANics 50nRaw. I wanted to show you guys today a book that I made before I started my 1 year raw fast. And so I was making this time last year in the beginning of October. I knew that I was going to start my 1 year fast on October the 15th, and I knew I needed to have a plan, and I knew I needed to be prepared, and I knew I needed accountability. On my 50th birthday, my close circle of friends and we went to Olive Garden, and we celebrated my birthday. And afterwards, I told them what I was planning on doing, that I was planning on doing a 1 year fast, and why I wanted to do it. I wanted to draw closer to the Lord. I want to experience things in my life that I have not experienced before, because, you know, you always talk about things you want to do, but you never do them. And this year I wanted to make a commitment to do something that if I wasn't committed to doing, I would just always wish I had done a year raw, instead of actually being able to look back and say, wow, I did a whole year eating mostly raw vegan. I was not perfect at it. Absolutely, I was not perfect at it. My goal was always to be 100% raw vegan, but there were days I hit it, days I didn't. But even though there were days I didn't, I did not give up. I did not say, I'm a loser, I can't eat 100% raw vegan, I'm just gonna pack it in. No, every morning that I get out of bed, it is my goal to eat 100% raw vegan that day. So now there are stumbling blocks that are set before me every day, and I see them. Number one, if I let myself get hungry, then I'll eat anything. So I always need to make sure that I'm, you know, feeling satisfied, so that if I'm around, like I have 4 children, you guys, and a husband, and they're not raw vegan. And so if they're eating their food and I'm like absolutely starving, I'll say, okay, well, I'll just have 1 kettle chip. And then that's my downfall right there. That 1 kettle chip becomes like, it lets loose this ferocious beast inside of me that wants to consume everything, so I could eat the whole bag. The other downfall that I have is in the evening time. I could do really good eating raw all day, but at about 8 o'clock in the evening, I want something hot and salty. And overcoming that is something I'm still trying to do, actually. There's things that I have done. I've even tried like saying, okay, I'm just not gonna eat anything after 6 o'clock. And that works sometimes, but not all the time. You know, it's a learning process, you guys. Remember, it took Tanny Raw 8 years of eating, it took Tanny Raw 8 years of eating high raw before she went 100% raw. It took Dan McDonald, he says, like 10 years of eating high raw before he went completely raw, and it's only been the last 3 or 4 years he's actually been 100% raw. So, you know, you have to, I'm constantly reminding myself of that. Otherwise, I feel like a failure, and I'll just give up and say, okay, well, I can't do this. Instead of, no, I want to do this, and I want to do it, even though maybe I ate whatever. I want to do this, so I'm not giving up. So there are things that I did to help prepare me. And that night, when I told my close family and friends what I was doing, I gave them a card like this. And I told them, please, will you guys write something on this card that keeps me accountable? Like, pretend I'm with you, and I'm telling you, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't want to do this. I just want to give up, and I'm just not going to do this anymore. And I told them, write something on that card that if you were standing in front of me, you would say to me. So it's awesome. You know, these cards I actually only opened a week ago, because I was saving them, thinking, okay, when I feel like giving up, like I'm not gonna do this anymore, I'm gonna get those cards out and I'm gonna read them. Well, I never ever felt like that. Yeah, there were times where I struggled, and times where I'm really strong like a lion, and times where I'm really weak and wimpy like a floppy old fish, you know. Times where I feel like I'm committed to the bone, and times where I feel like, oh my goodness, I want to eat everything, you know, forget about the raw food. But I never felt like giving up. So last week in the nighttime, I couldn't sleep, so I got up and I thought, I want to read those cards and see you know, what the people said to me. They took the time to read them. I really want to go through them. And they were so nice. My grace is sufficient for thee. My strength is perfect in weakness. My sweet sister and friend, be encouraged, you know, and on. Lots of nice things. My son's, he was funny. I'm sitting here at 3 in the morning and I was laughing at his. Let me see if I can find it. He said, let me see. Oh, Mom. It says, Mom, you're crazy, but every time you want to give in, give me $1. And by the end of the year, I'll be a millionaire. Oh, Michael. Oh, he's so funny. He makes me laugh. So this was important. Now, when you're going to do a fast, I really don't recommend telling everybody. Really, a fast should be done in secret and in quiet, and you know, but to fast for a whole year is a little bit different because people are going to notice and they're going to ask, what are you doing? So I just kind of laid it out, you know, right at the beginning. Asked for their accountability so that they would understand if I wasn't eating what they're eating, or if they made a cake and I didn't eat any of it, you know, they would understand. And actually some people still don't understand. They think that you should cheat for them. And I understand where they're coming from because they don't understand. But they made a special effort to make a treat and they want you to try it, and oh, you can do it just this once. And that's hard because you know they don't understand and you don't want to hurt their feelings. But so accountability was big. I also made this binder. Well, it doesn't have any name on it, but in it, I made some posters for myself. It's only food. How addicted are you? I wanted to remind myself of this daily. You know, Jan, it's only a piece of chocolate. How addicted are you? Like, are you going to die if you can't eat that chocolate? It's only French fries, Jan. Are you going to die if you can't eat those French fries? And honestly, sometimes you feel like you are gonna die if you can't eat them. I put vlog daily, be an influence, think of who you will influence, be transparent, sacrifice. It's a fast, Jan. There is no fast without a sacrifice. That's for sure. I did my plan, and this was my plan. Now, it was a plan. Did I do it 100%? No, but I had a plan at least. Read my Bible through in a year, which I did not succeed in doing. That is still something that I have read my whole Bible, but not through in the whole year. Stay fully raw for 1 year with the exceptions I put there of Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. Oil pull, floss, and some daily face brushing, facial massage, colonic enemas, whole body vibration, far infrared sauna, vitamin D, iodine, and zinc, and lots of fermented foods. So I had a plan. Now remember, a plan is a plan. If you veer off of that plan, I can tell you I did not oil pull daily. I didn't. But it was still a plan. It was still something I wanted to do that I wanted to write down. You're 1 bite away from falling. Don't do it. That was for me. And then this was the scripture that was really my scripture for the year. It is your year of Jubilee. It shall be holy to you, and you shall eat its produce from the field, which is the scripture that I was given in the Bible when I turned 50. The year of Jubilee is the 50th year, and it's a Jewish celebration. And it said, eat its produce, eat only what comes from the field, in the translation I read. Hey, I also started this binder. And in this, I mean, this notepad, and you know, I wrote down in here preparation, pictures. I knew I wanted to take pictures, measurements, lab work, mirror motivator, you know, set up Facebook, which is one of the things that I did. Get a mentor, Tanny Raw, Dan McDonald, Lou Corona, Robert Cassar. They were all my mentors. So here was things that I knew that I needed to do. Oh, let me put it up here so you guys can see it. I started to write down quotes of things that people would say. Tanya Zavasta. Lose weight, pros and cons of doing this. I made a list of pros and cons of doing the year raw. Fresh and Alive was a website, and I started to get recipes. These are my current health conditions when I started, and I'm going to go over these in about a week with you guys and just let you guys know what has improved and what still is there. rawbunch@gmail.com. I started to write down things that I knew. Okay, I know I'm gonna need this. I know I'm gonna need that. I listened to so-and-so and they said I need to do this. This is all my measurements from a year ago. And then, well, it's kind of a mess. Only I can really read it. So, you know, what my weight loss, my keys, my points and things that I learned. Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3 of losing weight, 4 and 5 and 6, you know, of how to lose weight, and just some tips. And then I started with some recipes in the back, and, you know, I just kept notes. So having this, and I used it the whole year. I wrote down Lou Corona's 4 principles to live by. So, you know, I didn't just say today, oh, tomorrow I'm going to be a scuba diver and go jump in the water tomorrow with all my gear on and not know how to use it and not know what it takes to be a scuba diver. You know, tomorrow I'm going to be raw. Tomorrow you just eat apples all day. I didn't do that. I knew I needed to be prepared, and I knew I needed to learn. Just like when I became a nurse, I had to go to nursing school to learn how to be a nurse. And when you want to become a raw vegan, I believe that you have to learn things, preferably before you go, but definitely while you go, there's things you have to learn. I learned this year that I had to take lysine for these huge cankers that I get in my mouth that are like about 1 inch big, you know? I learned I was lysine deficient. I learned about enzymes. There's a lot of things that I learned this year being raw, and there was a huge learning curve. I learned I still don't eat enough greens. You know, there's a lot of things that I learned and a lot of things that I still need to learn. But I think one of the biggest things that I learned was to be gentle on myself. And I think one of the biggest things I learned was not to give up when I feel like I failed. Just like I talked about earlier. One of the most powerful things I heard Dan McDonald say was he had only been 100% raw the last 3 years. And I have been following Dan McDonald for many, many years thinking he was 100% raw, and he wasn't. And not that it made any difference to me. I loved his transparency at that time, which he wasn't earlier. And I really don't blame him, because the raw vegan community can be pretty brutal on you. And then the most powerful thing I've heard Tanny Raw say was that it took her 8 years of eating high raw before she transitioned over to 100% raw. So if you're planning on going raw vegan or whatever it is, if you're planning on going scuba diving, if you're planning a trip, when I plan trips, I explore. I mean, I get it down. I know where we're going. I know the sights to see. I know what time we're going to be there, how much the tickets are. I prepare. And so my advice to you guys is also to prepare. Even if you're just going to do a 1-day raw vegan, prepare. If you're going to do a 1-week coconut fast, prepare. You know what you're going to do. And that also is my downfall. I need to do what I heard Tanny Raw say 2 days ago, is sit down on Sunday, think about the meals that you're going to eat every day and write them down. I thought, man, that's a good idea. I need to do that. That will help me. If I know, okay, I'm going to eat a raw soup on Monday, that will really help me out. Anyway, my friend is here. We're going to make some detox ice cubes, and I'll get back to you guys. Bye.